All right, so today I want to talk to you about a very important court case that just took place. In this particular situation, the brokerage actually won in court. And that's a good thing, I think, in the sense that it sets a precedent. It gives you case study that you can go out and reference if you find yourself in some of these same situations, and maybe you won't be held liable either. But there's another side of it. I think that there were some missteps that were made along the way, in my opinion, by the brokerage. And we as small brokerages should check this out, learn from this situation, and not make these same mistakes in our own businesses, because it could have a negative impact on your business. So let me set it up, set the table for you here, and I'll let you know what happened. You can share in the comments, let us know what you think about this situation. Now, here's what took place. You have a brokerage, Landstar Ranger. They're contracted with a customer called Tesco Communications or Tesco Technology, and they are moving some really expensive cargo. So Landstar gets a call from a guy named James. James is representing himself as L&P Trucking Company. And L&P Trucking Company is a trucking company that's already set up with Landstar. But they notice when they're talking to James that James is providing information that's a little bit off. It's not jiving what they have on file with this particular customer. But for some reason, the person goes ahead and brokers that load to James. Well, unfortunately, James shows up to pick up that load and he is never seen again. He steals the customer's freight. Now, here's what took place next. Tesco, of course, had insurance, and the insurance came in and paid for it, but they said they were going to file a claim against the 3PL. They were going to hold the 3PL liable because the 3PL negligently hired this person named James. They didn't accurately vet the carrier. It went to court, and the brokerage won in court. And basically what it came down to was an act called the Federal Aviation Administration Act, and it boils down to wording. And the wording in this case is freight broker as compared to motor vehicle. So you are a freight broker and you're not a motor vehicle. So in this particular situation, because of that wording, the freight broker is not held liable. If you want to take a look at the case, go in and take a look at it to read it, to understand it for yourself. But that's basically what it boils down to, from my understanding, is that that wording made it so that the brokerage wouldn't be liable in this case. Now, liability is one thing, but here is the part that I think that we have to really be aware of as freight brokers. Although they are not held liable in this situation, think about how much damage that does to the relationship with this particular customer. Will they want to move forward after something like that? Probably not, because you've given me the authority as the brokerage to move a load from point A to point B, and then I go out and not properly vet a carrier and give some very expensive freight to someone who is not who they say they are, and the freight ends up stolen. So that's not a good look. So that's not at all complimentary, I don't think, to the brokerage when you go out and you make that kind of error. So when you as a small brokerage are dispatching loads, when you are brokering loads out, you have to make sure that that person is who they say they are. We've had several instances this week where people have called me up, sent me emails saying that their MC numbers have been hijacked. So this is happening. MC numbers are being hijacked. People are representing themselves as a part of your company when they're not, and they could go out and get freight in your company's name. And if that happens, now you have bills that you have to pay, or at least you're being asked to pay those bills. So you need to stay on top of things. You always need to make sure that you're vetting carriers before you give them freight. If you don't do that, you're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting your customer's freight at risk. You're putting that customer and your relationship at risk. Let us know what you think. Do you think that the broker should have been held liable in this situation? Do you think that carriers coming and stealing freight now is becoming a much bigger problem, and there's other things that need to be addressed so that we can kind of alleviate this moving forward. What are your thoughts on this topic? Let us know in the comment section below. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight brokerage business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series, and it's titled How the Load Movement Process Works. It gives you a chance to come into the office with me, and you can watch me on video as I move loads, talk to shippers and carriers to give you a better understanding of how the business works before you come into it. Then if you're interested in learning more about how load boards work, I'll also leave you a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.